Hello guys, so welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to look at various ways of displaying data or the UI, organizing the UI using different kinds of layouts as used in Fyne. So we have the various types of layouts in Fyne. They can either be vertical, or they can either be horizontal, or they can either be a grid layout. So let's get started. So with me here I have a very simple uh, application, and we can see what it does. I'll just try running it. Let's see what the application does. It's just a very simple application. Yeah, that's how it looks like. So let's start with displaying our UIs. So the first layout we're going to look at is the vertical box or the vBox. Vertical box, just as the name suggests, it's used to display data vertically. So we can just call it vBox. Then we're going to use container, of course, container new vBox. So we can display various widgets new label. Can maybe say this one, we'll call this one. Then we can copy this, copy that maybe 4 times. So we can say this is 2, this is 3, and this is going to be 4. So I can just get rid of that. Then I come and say vBox. So vertical box displays these elements vertically. So we can run it so that we can see how they're going to look like. As you can see here, this is a vBox. It is displaying this data vertically 1, 2, 3, 4 in a line. So that's how you define a vBox. And then the next layout, you have the horizontal box. Just as the name suggests, you can just copy this, you can copy that, because it's going to throw errors. Then we're going to have a hBox. hBox is going to be new hBox, new horizontal box. Then we're going to come here. Then we're going to display that. Since you're done with this, I think I can just get rid of it. Then I can reduce the size of this UI. So we're looking at the horizontal box. Let's see, of course, it's going to display the data horizontally. Yeah, as you can see, the data is displayed horizontally. And this is method 1. There's another method that we can use to display it. You can just come and say container.new, and then we're going to define our layout here. We can say layout.new hBox layout. Then we do that. You can also do new vBox, the vertical box, of course. So this is method 1. I've also shown method 2 that you can use to display the data. So you can see here the horizontal layout is going to display the data horizontally. The vertical box is going to display the data vertically. The next layout, you can look at the grid layout. You can look at the grid layout and just edit this. Just call this grid. then of course container dot new. Then we're going to say grid without layout. That's the first one. Then grid with columns. We can try this one first. So grid with columns is going to specify the number of columns. I can say 2. We look at all of them and see how they're going to look. New grid with columns, so that means we're going to have 2 columns and 2 rows, since here we have 4 items. So we can run this and see how it's going to look like when we're working with the grid. And see how it's going to look like. Yeah, you can see it's organized as 2 by 2. We can try saying maybe 3 and see how it's going to look like. That is 3 columns. We're going to have 3 columns and 1 row. Sorry. Yeah, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3 columns and 1 row. This is how we do grid with columns. Then you can also do grid with rows. Grid with rows, you can say maybe only want to see 2 rows. You can run this and see how it's going to look like. Should be going to return the grid with 2 rows. Yeah, of course, row 1 and row 2. So that's how you're going to display the data using grid. That is the grid layout. Now the next kind of layout, we're going to have the border layout. The border layout. So you can come and say container.new border. Now for this, the border layout, we're going to need to add different layouts, different canvas objects. So we have the top, it's going to appear at the top of the window. Then we have bottom, it's going to appear at the bottom of the window. And then we have left, it's going to appear at the left side of the window. And then we have right, and then we have other objects. So in our case here, we're going to do this. So in our case, 1 is going to be at the top. So I can say this top. This second one is going to be bottom. This third one is going to be, we have top, bottom. This one is going to be left. Then finally this is going to be right. So this is how you organize your data using the border layout. So now use this border layout mainly when you're maybe developing an application where you're displaying the table and the search bar, but you can display the search bar at the top and the other details at the bottom. So let's see how you can use this new border layout in your applications and how it's going to look like. So this is our application. As you can see here, we have the top, we have the bottom, we have left, and we have right. So you can organize your data or your application using this new border layout. As you can see, it has organized them as that, so that you can have maybe here at the top you can have the header, the bottom can be the footer, the left side could be maybe the data display, and then the other side could be something else. So that's how you display the border layout. The next one, we have the form layout. So in this case, we're going to display the form layout, and before we use the form layout, we can just define our layout components. That is the form components, maybe the username, you can say maybe widget with new label, just say username. Then we can copy this, you can say maybe password, maybe say the password, because this one is used to display the form layout, the forms, and maybe be login or search form layout. Then we can also have the username entry, because that was the label. Let's say widget plus new entry. Then you can copy this for the password entry. Password entry. Then now we can define our form. You can just come and say form is going to be a container that's new. Of course, I'm going to define our layout. So it's going to be layout that's new form layout. Then we're going to define our details. So we're going to have username. Then we have the username entry. Then we have password. Then we're going to have the password entry. Then we're going to pass our form here. That is how you can define your form. So let's run this so that you can see how it looks like. Yeah, so that's how we define our form. It is for the form layout. Because you can add a title at the top saying login or register. So that's how you display your various form. Another layout that we could use is we have a center layout, and then we also have the new stack layout. So we can start with the center layout. You can just call it center layout, which is going to be container dot new center, and then we have our objects. So you can have a widget, new label, and then you can say my contents, and then you're going to add this to the center layout, Then let's see how it's going to look like. Center layout, yeah, you can see the content is going to be aligned at the center. Now as far as I'm concerned, I believe this one should, especially the form, when you're displaying your form, it should be at the center. So the best approach should be to use this new center layout so that it can display the form at the center of the application. And then the last one we're going to look at is going to be the max layout. You can say max layout and container dot new stack, because we have new scroll, but I'm going to use the new stack. And then we can get this. Let's see how it's going to look like. Max layout. Then you can run that so that you can be able to see how it's going to look like. Yeah, that's the max layout, the new stack. It finds at the beginning of the window. So there are very many different ways you can organize your data, but these are the main layouts that you actually need to come up with an application, because sometimes you might need a sidebar, a top bar, a header, a footer, and a right bar. So these are the layouts that you can use, you can manipulate to organize your UI so that they can be in good view for the users. So guys, thank you for the video, and see you in the next video.